evening. Welcome to episode 28 of Jeremy Makes Stuff. I didn't have any updates to my applications. Everything appears to be working fine this evening, so hopefully we can keep that as a keep it going just fine this evening. I did rearrange my setup a little bit. I need to log into my log into my stuff here. This evening, put in my password. This evening we're gonna pick up where we left off last week with some database stuff, and get my wire out of the way. Here we go. So we had talked about there's kind of two different projects going on here at the same time. Let's see. Oh, hey Flip, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. So there's kind of two projects we're working on here at the same time. Both have similar setup, similar heart, with an ESP8266, an Arduino, some 3D printed parts, and got some notes here from last time. So there's the Wi-Fi piano player and the Wi-Fi finger, and I'm still not 100% sure how the processing on the piano player is going to work just yet, but I am fairly certain that I understand what I need to do with the Wi-Fi finger, which, as it turns out, is basically creating my own IoT sort of system. I'm getting a shadow right here. I don't know what that's about. So I've got some ideas of what I'm doing there. Maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. But that's the direction we were going in. So last time we were talking about, the ESP8266. I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen. I think I'm opposite on there. We see. I was. So the ESP8266 is communicating with the cloud, and we'll have a web interface that will allow the user to set up and manage the devices, and then those devices will communicate back and forth with the cloud, with the management system, and want it to be as simple as possible with the least amount of data processing across the wire, and et cetera, et cetera. But the basic flow here, and we wrote out this sort of sample log file, right? So at 1:59:55, the device checks to see if there's been any commands sent to it, and there haven't. 5 seconds later, it checks again, there haven't. 1 second later, the user on the phone taps the button to say, hey, I need something to happen. When the device checks again, it sees that there's a command waiting for it, and it triggers that command on the device, and it just, the cycle continues. Let's see, I had a third slide. So the setup process, the IoT device creates its own access point. The user connects to it, tells that device which Wi-Fi network to connect to, and then generate device key. Now, let's see, does this work? Oh yeah, cool. So when generating the device key, that's going to make a call to a web service and say, hey, I'm a new device, give me a key, and it gives a key back. Then the user will go to the website, log in with their account, and then type in that key from the device to associate the device with their account. And then from there, the current testing on where my phone went was with the If This Then That app, using their webhooks. So that's what this create an API key and add commands stuff was based around there. So in the show, there it goes. So from there, created some tables. And I have an account table, pending device. I believe I had an ERD somewhere too. Let me see if I can find that real quick. The entity relationship diagram was done in Lucidchart at the end of the episode. So let me pull that up real quick. Where did that go? Lucidchart connects to your Google account or Google Drive account, and it's pretty cool because it gave us a list of SQL Server commands that it wanted to run. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that again. So I'm logged into my Google Drive account and have this Lucidchart file here, and I'm going to go to import data. I'm going to do an entity relationship and going to do a SQL import and pick which database it is, SQL Server. Copy that out and back to the database. I need a new query window on my JKS database. So I'm going to execute this, and I'm just going to grab the ones inside the IoT schema. I have a bunch of other stuff in this database, different things I've tried, but it's only the IoT stuff that we care about. And I could have added that to the where clause up at the top as well. So I'm going to go next and paste the output. And there's actually a few more down below that. Right here. And let's see if that was it. Oh, there's some more. So all this did was select from information schema out everything it decided it needed. Column names, ordinal positions, data types, various constraints, and connections and such. So we hit import. And it didn't import it. Had this problem before as well. Let's see, I'm going to say where and which table is table schema in? T dot table schema equals IoT. That way I won't have to copy all that out again. This will just be the IoT stuff. I don't know, maybe I need the headers. Seems kind of strange, but try it. Import SQL Server. Nothing. Okay. Try making a new document. No, I don't want to upgrade. Let me delete some of these. Maybe there's a document limit or something. And I was using these before to run an online Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Let's try that again. Documents. I only want basic. I don't understand. Am I only allowed a single document? Let's see. Maybe that was it. I don't know. So here are the tables. We have the account table and the device table, which has a foreign key constraint back to the account table. There's the device API key. There's the device commands. There's the device log. And pending commands. Command history. What else am I missing? Pending device. And pending device log. And I thought... Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Okay, so that is all of the tables. So you can see how everything connects here. So I'm going to step through the process one more time. The user gets a new device and requests a key. It creates a record in the pending device table. This will, then they log into their account and go to create a new device, and to connect it to the to pull the pending device into their account, enter in that device key, and then they can set that up. And in the meantime, it'll log any checks, because we want to make sure that the device is actually online and working, right? If somebody can't find their device, maybe it's not actually connected right or something. I don't know. Then they can create a device API key, which can be used to send it the commands, and that can also be revoked. And the device commands get set up in a similar fashion. Its device key can be revoked. That's what it was. Okay, we were talking about making the command keys revocable, but instead just deactivate the entire command, create a new command, it'll have a new command API key. That's sort of the general flow. That's a pretty good layout there. A user can have many devices. A device can have many commands. It'll also have multiple log entries. A single API key, which can be revoked. Yeah. So what I want to do this evening is write some stored procedures. So let me. I'm gonna see if I can rearrange this a little bit and save it as an image, or I think I can export it as a PDF. Yeah. Nice. That's fine, that's fine. Huh, that's kind of weird. Rearrange stuff. Yeah, 50 page. Center it. Alright, download the PDF. So I've got that for reference now. Dock that over here to the side. Yeah, okay. And let's start cranking away here. So I'm not going to save the procedures in the same file as the tables. I'm going to make a new window. And so what is the order of things I need to do here? I'm not going to do anything with the user stuff just yet. We'll deal with that later. I'm more concerned about the devices and things, because I can always just insert a row into the account to test the other procedures. So first we want to generate device key, then add device. Let's see, generate device key, log pending device, polls, add a device, edit device, log device polls, revoke device API key. So when a device is added, it will generate API key for the device. Add command. It's not really delete, but edit command, which will include deactivating. Maybe not. Deactivate command. I'm going to need set command pending. Well, not that just yet. There's going to be some crazy stuff going on there. And with the command history. So let's see. Break this up into a couple of pieces. After add command, edit command, deactivate command, we want to validate API key. I'll do all that in a single. Let's call it request command. So that last procedure is going to be the meaty one, where when the user taps the button, it makes the call to the web service, which then validates the user's API key, the device API key, the command API key, and then logs it to the command's pending table. So then we need device check for command, and then pending log cleanup. Command expire. Sort of a set of garbage handling commands here, right? So the command will expire if it's reached the threshold, the expire seconds, right here, which will then move it from pending command to command history, denoting that it was expired. This was pending device log cleanup. Then let's see, view device log and view command log. I guess command, yeah, whatever. It's a decent number of procedures. So right off the bat, we want to generate a device key. So create procedure IoT dot device generate key, and this doesn't need any inputs, but it does need an output. What did I call that? Device key, not API key. And this is a unique identifier. I wonder if a GUID is going to be too crazy, too difficult to for the user to type in. You know, what is it? That's not gonna. That's a lot of mess to type in. I wonder. So there are some services that have like there's some cryptocurrency wallets or whatever that'll give a set of 4 words as like a passphrase or something, so that you don't, so that if you have to access the wallet again and you don't use any password, you've got this, you know, like secret command sentence kind of thing. I wonder about doing something like that. I'm not even sure what that's called. Let's see, maybe 4 words, password. Because I don't really want to use it as a password, right? But want to generate it as the key. So that's doing 4. So I wonder, is there an easy service or an easy way to do that? Generate 4-word strings. I don't know. Here's a password generator. Four words between 4 and 6 characters. Everything lowercase. No padding. Separator, a space. That's cool. And that's generating. So how can I use that then? Because that's exactly what I want. I think that said something about Perl. Yeah, it's a Perl module. Let me see if there's anybody ported it to .NET. Nope. Oh, that's too bad. I would like to generate it just in the database. Let's see. SQL Server generate 4 words. Random word generation. There's a database called Words. Where is this database? Okay, well, I guess it was just an exercise here with the code, but not the database. But that's cool. I can, oh, here we go. There's a zip file. Oh no. So I'll register. Let's see here. Alright, let me do this real quick. I have to confirm. I don't have the email yet though. Check my spam folder. Nope. Whew, I'm glad I'm not showing you my spam folder. You know, my email address was in one of those big password file dumps. It was a really old password, thankfully. But I feel like my spam has increased significantly. Since that happened. Right, maybe I can just log in. Nope. They emailed me another confirmation email, but I'm not getting it. Well, let me try a different email address. Because I didn't type it wrong. So how's everybody doing tonight? Flip, are you still here? With me floating in this void? Yeah, I'm not getting emails from SQL Server Central. Oh, there we go. Okay. I got the password reset email, but not the initial confirmation password email. So let's see if that worked now. Yes. Okay, close all these back down. And turn the computer back on. Okay, download a zip file. Let's see what's in this. Words, English SQL. I don't know if that's going to have the words in it or if it's going to be just the database. Let's see, where did the project files go? Right here. Let's see, that's creating the table and the index is in the CSV file. Yeah. 109,505 words. Let's see if I can some of those are long. Let's see, possible data loss. Nah, it's fine. Okay, cool. I'll be able to import those. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the IoT schema just so, since it's with this project. And let's see, there's get rand. And rand between. So rand between is next. I don't like that the schemas aren't on there. So now I need to import some data. See, it's been a while since I've imported from a CSV file. I'm not sure I remember how. Tasks. Import data. Flat file source. No column names on the first. Yep, that looks good. That's fine. Whoops. What's wrong with connection string? Oh, I have to. I thought that was going to. Oh, because it's the ODBC. That's weird. It's a native client. There we go. And 1 second. Not that the password will be visible, but you know. Alright. And I'm going to hit, oops. I'm going to hit next. And inside of IoT words in, load immediately. What was the problem? Oh, okay, it wanted to create the table. That's fine. Let me go back. Just make an import table. Maybe across the board. Alright, so let me select star from IoT.words en underscore import. There's all the words, and that's column 0. Insert into IoT.words en. What was the column name? The word. And here I'm going to select column 0. select star from IoT.words in. Nice. The first one's gonna blank there. Okay, so that was crazy. I'm not going to delete the import table just yet in case for some reason I end up deleting the words table. Okay, so back to the article. So I can select dbo.rainword, in my case iot.rainword, right? So select. Yeah. Nice. Now, like I said, those are pretty long. Some of those words are long. Let's see. Select length of the word as length and count star as number of words. IoT dot words en, group by the word, order by number of words descending. So this is going to give me the lengths of the word, how many words have that length, and return the list in order of most words. So I want to see what sort of the distribution is there. Oh, what did I do wrong? I need to order by the length of the word, not the word itself. So 8-letter words. There's 3,000 4-letter words. 853 letter words. Almost 7,000 5-letter words. So less than 6 or less than 7. So I want to see how many words are there between with 4, 5, or 6 letters. 200,526. What about 3, 4, and 5? 10,000. That's okay. So let's see. Delete from IoT.words in where, and I actually want the opposite of this where clause. Where it's less than or equal to 2 characters or greater than and equal to 6 characters. So only words with 3, 4, or 5 characters long will be in there. Oh, that's not. Or, let's see. Oh, Tiger stopped by, said hi, programming, bye. Thanks for stopping by, Tiger. how many words do we have? Almost 11,000 words, and they're all between 3 and 5 characters long. So, come back up here. If we get a random word, oh. Because it was going off the IDs. So now I've got gaps in the IDs, right? Like 100,000 gaps in IDs. So let's see. Alter table IoT dot words in. Add a column ID int not null identity 11. Let's see if it'll like that. I'm just going to delete that column. Can't delete the column. Oh, because it's in the index, of course. So I'm going to need to rewrite that index. So I'm going to script it first. And, you know, we'll even keep it as word ID. So I'm going to drop the index, alter table, IoT dot in, drop. I don't remember if I have to specify drop column, word ID, and then alter table, IoT dot words in, add word ID int not null identity 11. So let's drop the index. Alter the table. Drop the column. Hey, I got that syntax right. Add the column back. Now if I select from that table, I should have that ID column back. Yeah. I'm going to create the index again. Fun processing. Now we should get a word every time. Cool. So this now is going to be varchar. It's 3, 4, and 5, and with 4 words, so 20 plus 3 spaces is 23. So maximum length will be 23 characters. And this is an output parameter. We'll need to modify the pending device table. 23 characters. And the same to pending device log. Now these don't have any keys, primary or foreign, so I can just drop and recreate. Oops. They're not on the master table. There we go. Alright. And clean that back up. resave that. Okay. So alright, so stored procedure, no inputs. This is a long way to get there. No inputs, one output. So we begin set no count on, and the set no count on, when you run a stored procedure without that, it actually returns the count of rows that were returned as well, and depending upon what is consuming it, it may see that as another data set. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure since I'm writing this, I'll be consuming it, but just to be sure that I don't screw anything up, I'm going to put no count on there. And this evening's water is in a Mars hologram cup from NASA I got a few years ago. Delicious, delicious water. Something Mars is lacking in, unfortunately. Well, there's ice, right? But anyway. So, no thank you. Okay, I don't think I need this guy anymore. But I do still need this. Alright. So I want to return 4 words, right? With spaces in between. So, simplest way is just set device key equals, and I will select IoT.rand, what is it, rand word or something? I already forgot. Yeah. Rand word plus space plus IoT.rand word plus space plus, so just this 4 times. No space at the end. Whoops. And that should be fine. It's kind of going out to the side crazy. I'm going to break this up. So let's test that and see. Create it. And now I'm going to call it my new device key. It's VeriCare 23. And execute. IoT.device generate key. Device key equals my new device key. It's coming out. And then select my new device key. So this is just going to generate it. It's not going to insert it into the table yet. But so there we go. Arch to Im's fetal rhyme. Tots imbue source Pepsi. Alright, I might want to clean up that word list a little bit. Maybe. There's that's some weird things to be saying there. I can't make the results window any bigger either. What messages are. Let's see, can I print the value? Yeah. Palps, Sohn, Jolts, Dilly, Eggs, Chef, Amoeba, Bod, Toss, Forts, Mosques, Rolls, Edges, Acres, Nut, Gabon, Gavin? I don't know. Cool. I like that. Alright, so I may go through and tidy up some of those words. Since it's just, yeah. I'll clean some of that up. So we've got the device key now. Let's insert it into, these are wrong, but that's fine. Insert into pending device. Insert into IoT.pending device. This is the device key and device key. So now oh yeah, crazy. Alter it. So now I'm going to declare my new device key, execute the procedure, print out the device key, and also I will select out from the IoT pinning device table so you can see everything that's there. So in theory, first time I run it, there's only going to be one result, right? No flames, see some gushy. But I run it a second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time. So now we have these 6 devices pending. I think I want to update those to all be lowercase. Not that the case is going to matter necessarily. I mean, case actually doesn't matter in SQL Server unless you tell it to. Truncate table IoT dot pinning device. I just removed all those tests. And let's see, I want to they're lowercase there. So maybe one of the generation procedures were was causing it to change case. Let's see. Not name, schema. Oh, it was a function. Ah, yeah, it is doing upper. And then lower. Nah, we don't need all that mess. Just return the word. Nice. Cool. Alright, so I am gonna, like I said, I will go through and delete some words out of there because there was some wacky stuff. But that's a good start. I can deal with that later. So executing that does create the device key, which is 4 words. In this case, twang, scums, bubbo, pain. See what I mean? There's some weird stuff in there. I'll clean some of that up. So we've got sample device, now it's waiting. Now, I'm going to start another script over here, just to call it process testing. And this generate a new device key. So I kind of have a list of steps there just for testing through, so I don't have to have all this mess in between all the procedures and stuff. Alright. So next we want to log a pinning device poll. So if grab the edge. There we go. might have gone a step too far on that table change. Did I close the tables? No. I think maybe I still need a pinning device ID. And here, instead of a device key, it'll be the pinning device ID. That way, yeah. And I will update this procedure to also return the pending device ID. Set pending device ID equals, what is it? Is that the right one in scope? Or is it? Yeah, scope identity. That's what I wanted. So that'll be whatever the last identity created, which will be that pinning device ID, and it'll return that back. Alter that. To the test script. Create another one. Pending device ID int. And this is pending device ID equals pending device ID. That's out. I'll keep this on the screen for you. And I want to select pending device ID and device key. Whoops. What was that? Oh, it's my new device key. That's what I... Then also select from the table. Alright, so let's test this. We should see the 4 words and the ID of 1. And then also when it was created. Oh. Why is the database server time off by 1 hour and 35 minutes? Well, it's not in my time zone, but it should still... I thought I said it. I don't know. I'll have to look at that later. Apparently, there's some issue there. Anyway, run again. Okay, and this is returning the pending device ID and the device key. The device key will be displayed in the UI for the user. In the meantime, it'll use the pending device ID in the polls. So that's what we need to do here. Create procedure IoT dot pending pending device log, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Set no count. And here the only input is going to be pending device ID, and there are no outputs. And this is going to insert into IoT.pending device log, pending device ID. Pending device ID. Now I can do other things too, like log the IP address or whatever. I don't know, might add something like that later, but right now I just want to do the minimum bit here. Let's create that. Whoops. Oh, because it's called pending device poll. So go back over to test script. Here we are going to device pending device polling. So you have to have the pending device ID, and we'll say that's 1, and we're going to execute t dot pending device poll with pending device ID equals pending device ID, and then we'll, is that what I called it? Pending device poll, yeah. Select star from IoT.pending device log, so we'll see the logs as they go in. So, yep, just checking in, and you can see the seconds, milliseconds change here. Switch to device 2. Cool. So I am going to add a foreign key constraint from this device key in the pending device log to the device pending device key in the pending device table, so that once it's removed in the pending device table, if I don't know, somebody's trying to spoof the ID or something, it won't insert because it won't exist in the other table anymore. Also, I may copy the log over once the new device is created. I don't know, we'll see. But I do want to update that on the table here. Constraint, foreign key, FK, IoT, pending device log, to IoT, pending device, foreign key, pending device ID, references, IoT dot pending device. Oops. Device ID. Since we what did I do wrong? I feel like it's really late, but it's only 9:17. Yeah, foreign key references. I don't know. Oh, well. Let me drop this table. Sometimes the IntelliSense doesn't see the tables. It's kind of weird. Oh, didn't create a primary key up here. That's right, because I didn't think I needed one, but I do now. PK IoT pending device, primary key, pending device ID. Drop that one as well. create these two. Put the foreign key there, save that. Nice. Run another test. This will generate a new device. Once punts pigs sacks. And this will say that device is logging. Now there's not a second device yet, so if I give it a 2 here, I should get an exception. Yes. Foreign key constraint, conflict, perfect. So if device 1 gets picked up by the user and then tries to pull on the pinning device, it's going to fail. Perfect. Okay. What are we doing next? Add a device. Okay, so from here, I think I want to do another step. I'm going to make this add a 2-step process first. Verify pinning device exists. I'll call this pinning device lookup. And it's going to have an input of the device key. Hi, kitty. We have a visitor. Hi, 6. So the device key is an input, and I'll just use return value to do true or false. Come on. So here we'll say if exists select star from IoT.pinning device where device key equals device key, return 0, which is a positive, else return 1, no device, or no pinning device. And technically I don't need the else, right? Because if that's going to return, then that's not going to be there to return. Yep, that'll work. So let's see. Pinning device. We're going to declare device key. Clear 23. Execute IoT.pinning device. What did I call it? Lookup? Yeah. Device key equals device key. So right now, if I pass in some gobbledygook, and return value int set return value equals that, select return value. Is that going to work? Nope, I have to do it. I forgot how to do that. TSQL. Get return value. I have it on the wrong side of the execute. I don't set it. That's right. So return value 1 means there was a problem. We have a pinning device. Once pig sacks. So now we should get a 0. Perfect. All right. Tables are saved. These procedures. I'm going to save this real quick just to make sure I don't lose it. Procedures. I should probably script those changes I did to the functions too, but worry about that later. Okay, so the device exists, and the user will get taken to the add form. They enter in all their information for the new device. Oops. Create procedure. Device underscore add. So this is going to take in what? Pinning device key, or just device key is what I'm calling it, right? Because it's pinning device ID. You know, that's a good question. Maybe I didn't ask it out loud, I asked it in my head. Maybe the pinning device lookup should return the pinning device ID. No reason to look it up twice, I guess. Yeah, why not? Pending device ID. Well, I've got to look it up one more time either way, right? Because this is just doing it exists. See if there's a row there. Nah, that's fine. Device ID equals select. Pending device. Where device key equals device key. The word device has started to not look like a real word to my face. That's pinning device ID. Right? Yeah. And we'll bring the else back. Else, we'll set pinning device ID to -1. No device found. So I'll handle that in the UI. If it comes back with an ID of -1, it means it wasn't there. Here's my test scripts. Device ID. So we're not using return value after all. That's okay. So alter this. And check the test script. So we're going to say, hey, I'm looking for once punch big sacks. And it's going to come back and say, oh, here's your device ID. But if I say I'm looking for something that doesn't exist, it comes back with -1. Cool. Okay. So this is going to take, once again, pending, pending device ID. And what else do we have? The user ID. It's going to generate the device key. Take a name. And I'm just referencing the table over here. Oh, it's behind the chat. Let me shift the chat a little. It's not too active tonight. No, I'll just go ahead and hide it. Yeah. Let's see if I can. Nope. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I'm looking at this table here for reference. Right here. Zoom that in a little bit. That's probably a little better. So pinning device ID is going to be passed in. So device ID is going to be generated. User ID is passed in. The device key is going to be generated. Name, where I've misspelled varchar, or varchar, as ex-coworker of mine used to say. Description. Default is going to be active. Created on is right now. I don't remember if I gave check-in intervals a default. I did, 5 seconds. don't need this device key anymore because we're just using it once for the pinning device, and then we're using the API key for the communication. I think this, yeah, I don't need that column. That's nice. I'll leave that there as a comment just in case I change my mind later. I'm like, oh, I was wrong, I'm an idiot. That happens. Do I have? No, okay. Let's see. Default is active. Create nodes generated, check interval times. If I'm going to let the check interval times be edited, I may as well let it be set to, right? And if it's, yeah, that's fine. And then I probably need to output the actual device ID. Yeah. So let's see, this shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, it's just a straight insert. I don't need to really check for any weirdness, because yeah, that's fine. Okay, insert into, what am I doing? Device. Right. Device, and we want user ID, name, description. Is active created or set automatically. Check in intervals. What, kitty? I think she wants an evening treat. You're gonna have to wait. I don't have to put these square brackets around here. Those were just blue because those are keywords or reserved words in SQL Server Management Studio, because the colors are just, you know, to be pretty, so that I see that I don't screw something up, that I didn't misspell output, right? It's a clear indication, but the colors don't really mean anything. The database knows in context of an insert statement that this is the list of columns. So, but just to make the color go away, I'll put the brackets around it. Also, so like if I wanted to select one as column and select two as column, and I can put square brackets around that, and 3 as column 3 with a space like that, right? So I really didn't like that word column. Let's call it name instead. Name with bracket, and name 3. So you can see here name, and name 3. This allowed the space because it had the square brackets around it. These two are essentially the same because it knows in context that this is the name of the column. So anyway. Values. User ID, name, description, check-in intervals, seconds, and set device ID, scope identity. Do I need to do anything else else here? I could be a lot more robust here. I could, you know, check and make sure that the user ID exists, and other stuff, but I don't think that's necessary at this time. Okay, so then I said I wanted to copy over the pinning log to the real log. Let's look at this. So I'm going to insert into IoT.device log. And it's going to be the device ID and the checked on. And then I'm going to, whoops, didn't mean to make that smaller. Come on. I was suddenly using the trackpad instead of the mouse. And things were getting weird. So, I need to look up all pinning device logs for this device and pass any other. Okay, so I'm going to select device ID and checked on from IoT.pending device log, where pending device ID equals pending device ID. So this will take this device ID and insert all the previously log history from the pinning table to the regular table. Then I'm going to delete everything from pinning device log, where the pinning device ID is that, and then delete from the pinning device table, same thing. Really? I don't think that's right. I think pinning device ID is there. Copy everything to device log, delete the pinning log, delete the pinning device. Yeah, that's good. So, okay, user fills out the form, puts in the 4-character sentence or whatever, types in the name, description, changes the check-in interval, whatever. Click submit. First, it checks pinning device lookup. Well, I think it'll be 2 steps on the form. First, type in the 4 words, hit a button, it looks to see if that is there. Then it takes you to the next form, put in the name, description, change the check-in interval, click add. And it'll have the pinning device ID still on the page. Inserts into the device table, gets that device ID, copies over the pinning logs to the device logs, deletes the pinning logs, and deletes the pinning device. Sounds good to me. So create that one. Did I create this one earlier? Oh yeah, because we're using the test. Okay, so to write a test for this one, So we're going to do all this first. And we get the pinning device ID. So then I'm going to declare, we need a user for this. Account. Username, I'll just call it user1, password hash. I'm not handling password stuff yet, so it doesn't really matter. And email address really doesn't matter either. I just need a user created. Right, so active, created. Nice. So like I said, I mean, we could do all kinds of extra stuff inside these procedures if I wanted to, like in verifying it's an active user and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to assume that if this is being called, that all that stuff is appropriate. So what do I need? I need a user ID, and that's 1. Name. Did it again. Alright, this pointer finger is faster than the middle finger. I'll call this Wi-Fi finger 01. 14 characters. That's fine. I may end up expanding the name to 50 or 40 or whatever. Description. Nice. This Wi-Fi finger will open my garage door by pushing the wired button on my wall. And check in interval seconds, and we'll say 30. Alright, so I'm gonna break these up. It's kind of a long description. So we need to execute the lookup, then execute this one. I'm going to give us back the device ID, so we also need device ID int. Okay. Execute. IoT device add with this parameters. Pinning device ID is pinning device ID, user ID, is user ID we declared above. The name is the name as we declared above. The description is the description we declared above. Check interval seconds. Check interval seconds we declared above. Oops. And the device ID will be the device ID, and that is an output. And we will select that. And then we want to verify that IoT dot device rows IoT dot pending device IoT dot pending device log and device log. So should have new record, should be empty, should be empty, should have pending logs. Whew. Hope that makes sense. Let's step through all that again. I'm going to do a couple of pending polls as well. Oh, we don't need that select statement. Okay, so right now, do I still have a pending device? Yes, its ID is 1. So it's going to have a couple of polls. Okay. So we're going to verify that this device is there, and that will give us back that pending device ID. Notice I don't have a go statement here, so this will all be in the same batch. So this pending device ID that gets output here will be the pending device ID that we pass in here. And then it selects out that device ID to make sure we got something, and then we want to find the device, see there's no pending device, see there's no pending log, and see the pending log has been copied to the regular log. So I'm just going to run this all in one big fell swoop, and hope for the best. Ah, so close. Cannot insert value null in the column is active. I thought that was a... Oh, no, it's not. I am going to give that a default of 1. And here I'm going to table IoT.device, add... No. Drop column is active, alter table IoT.device, add this. Okay. Let's try that one more time. I thought that is active had a default, but it didn't. So, same thing. Alright. We didn't get any logs. Oh, because once Bunce Pigs Sacks is device 2. Of course it is. That's weird. Let's generate another new device. pending device ID 2, Tim put Berg Hall. I'm going to do some polls for device 2. We want to find device 2's pending device ID, which is 2. Let's add a new device. Call this the Wi-Fi finger 2. And this finger will turn on the washing machine. And it will check every 10 seconds. Because I'm really serious about washing my clothes. Down here. So device 3 was added, and the logs were copied over. Okay, well, I was trying to add polls for device 1 when it was device 2. There wasn't a device 1. So, okay, whatever. So that worked. Good test. So I have devices, I have device logs. Let's edit the device next, right? Yeah. Procedure. IoT.device underscore edit. This one needs a bunch of inputs. I think I'm going to use this procedure for more than one process. So one for editing the device details, but also give like just a single button click to deactivate or activate a device. So what all do we need here? We need name. And I'm going to give these all default values. Description. Is active. Check in intervals. Seconds. Seconds. What else? Yeah, that's it. Oh, I need the device ID. Which device are you editing? I don't know. So then here we will say update IoT.device. And I'm not tracking history on device edits. Set name equals case when name is null, then name else name. And so let me put these in and then I'll walk you through what's happening here. Description. Case when description is null. Description. Else description. Case when is active is null, then is active, else is active, and check-in intervals equals case when. Come on. Check-in interval is null, then I don't know why I'm hitting the spacebar just right. Then check-in intervals else check-in interval seconds and where device ID equals device ID. So what this is saying is where we have these 5 inputs: the device ID, the name, which if an value is not provided, we're setting the value to null. Description, which if a value isn't provided, setting the value to null. Is active, which if a value isn't provided, we're setting to null. Check-in interval seconds, same thing. So we get down here, we're going to update IoT device. We're going to set name. Well, when there's not one passed in, we don't want to change it. We want to leave it as itself. So if the passed in name is null because it took the default input value, then just set name to name, so don't change it. But if a new name is passed in, so if this is not null, it's going to set column name to passed in parameter name. So to set description, if no description was passed in, then it sets it to itself. Otherwise, the passed in description. So how this is going to help is I can call this one procedure in 2 different places, or multiple places. So suppose there's a list of devices with a little red X to deactivate, and there's 5 devices listed there. You click the deactivate link on one of them. It calls this procedure, passing in just the device ID and is active to 0. Well, it's not going to change the name, it's not going to change the description, it's not going to change the check-in intervals, but it'll set the is active flag to false. At the same time, maybe, and then now on the UI, the little red X turns into a check mark. So you click the check mark, and it reactivates it by again passing in the device ID and is active set to true or 1. Maybe on the same list, you can update the check-in intervals without having to edit the whole, go to the edit form. There could just be a drop down and it's set at 5. So you click the drop down and choose 30. That ends up calling the stored procedure, passing in just the device ID and just the check-in interval seconds. So since you're not passing the name, description, or active flag, it's not updating those values, but it would update the check-in interval seconds. Then on the device edit page, it can actually pass in all 4 of them, or maybe just name, description, and interval seconds, but the only way to deactivate or activate a device is on the device list page. So anyway, it's a procedure that can be used in multiple places because of the way it's wired up here. The only thing that's tricky about this, but it's okay in this situation, is suppose there was some other column that a null value would be appropriate. Then using the null default value to mean don't make a change would be wrong, because you would want to pass in that null value to be set appropriately. So if just for grins, we'll say I have other thing, and it's a bit, no, it's a, let's say, okay, let's say next execution date, time, and it's possible for there not to be a next execution date, so I may want to pass in, you know, a date, or null, meaning there's not one, or don't change. So how do we do that? Well, in this case, let's pretend we had that next execution date column here. We couldn't pass in null because we would want to use null here. So if it were a date time, and maybe this was a bad example, but we could give it a default date time to check for, like 1/1/1975. And then you do the same thing here, right? Case when next execution date equals 1/1/1975, then next execution date, whoops, else next execution date the variable, right? So that would work for a date, and then if null was passed in, this doesn't equal null, so the null would get set. If it's something else like, say it's an integer, and appropriate values are, you know, 0 to infinity, well, okay, let's say it's a tiny int. So this gets wacky, because appropriate values are 0 through 255. And let's say it's nullable. So you may want to be able to pass in, you know, 128 or null. Well, how do you tell it, you know, we need something else? Well, in this case, you'd have to pick something that you're never going to use, like a 0. And that would be the one to check against. But if 0 is appropriate, then this gets more difficult, because null is appropriate and 0 is appropriate, and all, you know, the full width of possible values are appropriate. Well, then there's not a value that's inappropriate. Now, if it was an integer, you could use, you know, -1 or -99 or whatever. But you understand what I'm saying here. So it's just a little versatile trick to have a single procedure with multiple possible uses. But there's that caveat of, if you need that null value, or if you need whatever default value, then you have to figure out something else different. So I'm going to create this procedure. And I'm not returning anything, no return codes or giving back an ID or anything. We already have the ID, we're passing it in. When the procedure returns, the page can refresh and you'll see the updated information. Or if the user will, I will, whoever will. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, it's 10:06. So that's a good place to leave off, I think. We've got generating a device key, so when a new device is going to be added, the pending device collecting the polls, show it actually is connected. We can look up a device based off of a 4-word key. I've got to clean up that table. We can add a new device, which has to be one that exists in the pending devices with the 4-word key. And we can edit the device, not just the device as a whole, but using the same procedure for editing individual columns on the device itself, device table. Cool. So the log device poll will be very similar to the pending device poll. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that and create that. And then besides the device API key stuff, we should be done. That's going to be not pending, that's not pending, that's not pending, that's not pending, and that's not pending. Cool. So going back to our entity relationship diagram somewhere. The PDF. We now have entries happening here, entries happening here. And we can edit this one. Nice. So next it'll be creating and revoking the API keys, creating the commands, and then setting up the commands. And besides the user stuff, that'll pretty much be the database part, and then it can maybe wireframe some pages and create a API. I'm going to use web API. I've only touched it lightly, so it'll be a bit of a learning experience, but that'll be good too. And yeah, cool. I like the progress we've got here. So let me see here. Make sure I saved everything. Create procedures, create tables. I'm going to save my tests as well. And I'll have to edit the Word document, the Word table. And that's fine. So, thanks for hanging out tonight. Oh, hey, Sajesh. You rolled in right here at the end. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I know Flip stopped by, Tiger stopped by, Sajesh swung by here at the end. If you like what we're doing here, please like the video, subscribe, share it. Let me know your thoughts if you think I'm doing something crazy, if you're interested in what I'm doing. You know, if you have any feedback, comments, or whatever, please let me know. And who knows, maybe a few more episodes we'll have something a little more visual to demonstrate. And also I need to figure out what I'm going to do with the motors to move the fingers pretty soon too. So anyway, it's been a very productive episode, which is nice. Episode 28. I feel like 27 and 28 were pretty productive. A lot of code stuff, code heavy. I know Tiger stopped by and said, "Hi, programming by," earlier. It's kind of funny. But anyway, cool. Thanks again for hanging out, and see you next week.